Hello everybody. I'm Brian Pickle, and welcome back for another episode of Pickleton, our Cities Skylines 2 Beginner's Guide. As always, thank you so much to everybody leaving comments and suggestions for hints and tips and tricks and all that good stuff in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Again, it always just it helps me build a better city, but also helps me, pass that information on to a wider audience and help everybody kind of improve their games in their cities. So thank you again so much for all of that. Special shout out to two people in particular who mentioned that the issue that I'm having with the high resources might be due to my taxes, which is fair because they are pretty high. And it really does make sense. I suppose I thought it was going to be a little bit more obvious and say like high taxes or something. But it makes a lot of sense. If your taxes are too high, then the cost of pretty much everything else is going to feel a little bit higher as well, and it's kind of a trickle-down effect from there, I guess. So thank you for that. We are going to try that out today. But right now, what we're starting with is just a little bit of preparation for some residential expansion. We are probably going to need it by the end of this episode, and it'll be really handy to just have that area set up so that we can just quickly zone it up and not have to worry about it and let it do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and finish drawing out a couple roads, putting some things up on this hill, and just adjusting a couple things really fast here in the city to make it flow a little bit better in the future, and I'll catch you in the live play when I'm finished. Okay, so now I've set that little area up, just drew out some roads that I will eventually go through and fill in sort of as needed. But to talk about what exactly it is that we're going to do today, we are going to bring in cargo rails to our industry zone over here. Now, here's a little bit of a disclaimer because there are still quite a few bugs in the game, and I will show you what happens when we're done with why exactly this might not increase productivity and profitability of industry as much as it ought to. So if we look at company profitability now, average industrial profit is 32%. The other two are doing great. I would like to see this go up. And in theory, how it's supposed to work is that if you add in a cargo train station nearby, which we will be putting ours right over here, so in theory that should save them money. It hasn't worked out that way in practice. And I will show you again at the end why that might be, and it is a confirmed bug. Basically what happens is that the land value, we can see not a lot of land value here right now. It looks like there might be some bluish color here that suggests that this land value is high, or like higher anyway, the terrain color here. But like comparative to over here where we can see definitely the blue, this area is like a high value land area. It shows that all of this is as well, which realistically should not be the case. There's a giant dirty coal plant here. This land value should not be that high. And again, it is a confirmed bug. I did look into it. That is not supposed to be how that works. And it gets even worse when we place our cargo station. But either way, the cargo station is helpful because it does help send resources out of the city as well as import them a little bit easier. So we will be doing that, and I will at least show you how it's done, like how you build a cargo station, all the moving parts that you need to put into your city to make it work. And yes, in theory, in the future, this will work as intended, and it will increase the profit of your industrial zone. But before we do get into that, I do want to address the tax situation. So if we go into our budget here, we're losing a little bit of money, but it's not super bad right now. So if we go into taxes, I'm going to drop everything down to about 9%. And we'll just keep it there. The residential is going to go from 5 to 9% because we have a couple different zones going on here. And then we'll take a look at industrial here and see if that's helped. I wonder what those hearts are. Does anybody know? Not really. Not really important right now. So that might have helped the profitability. No, it didn't. It's actually gone down. But it's okay. Hopefully in the long run, it will kind of filter through and work. But I would also like to try to see if we can get our building levels in here to level up. The only levels that we or the only buildings that we have of like level 4 and 5 are our specialized industries. So ideally we want, these ones are actually level 2, I think. Yeah, that might be their proximity to that. Not really sure. But I would like to get some of these to level up as well. I'm hoping the taxes at 9 will help that. I could lower them even. I'll take industry down even further, and hopefully that will address that situation a little bit better. In the meantime, so I'm going to let that run while we do everything else, and we'll check it back at the end. And then the last thing I want to look at before we get started in the building is our unemployment. So it's at 1.8%, and we've got still mostly highly educated or well-educated jobs that are missing. So I think maybe I'll fill in a little bit of that residential now, and then we'll come back and address more of it once we finish the main part of the build. So I think I'll just throw some back along here. So, on to our trains then. So we're going to need quite a lot of space for it, because the train, we need both the train depot and a cargo rail station. So I'm going to purchase a couple tiles. This one I'm going to purchase just because it has the train rail in case I need to do anything with that. I have it. And then these two as well. So we'll purchase those. We still have 9 left. And then the next thing, of course, will be to actually add, or to purchase the train development point. So it's only 1 development point, which is great. So we'll take that. And we can get into it. So for train, it's simultaneously more difficult, yet also easier in Cities Skylines 2 to put trains in. Obviously, with, like, the tools, it's a little bit easier to, like, get the lines to work and to draw them. But it does require a couple extra steps compared to CS1. So, first, what you need to have done is you need to purchase a rail yard. So this is what, as it says, stores and maintains the trains. And so without this building, trains will... I mean, you can see them spawning, like, dummy trains going through the city, but without this depot, I mean, first of all, you can't build anything without it anyway, but if you didn't have it, trains would not actually come into your city and stop, even if you had a rail station somewhere. It wouldn't matter, like if I were to place this and then delete it, it would say that it needs this connection. So this building is required. But again, it takes a lot of space and it will flatten everything, so we actually want to try to do a little bit of terraforming first. So we're going to go into our terraforming tools and level terrain. If I just flatten it all out for now. I'm going to go right up to the highway because eventually we are actually going to make that an elevated highway. And then this can be like our bottom height. So I'm okay with it being like right up against there for now. And we do need pretty much all of this space. So I'm just going to flatten it all. And again, like once I'm finished and as we go along, I'll sort of adjust the terrain as needed. It's easier to flatten everything first and then raise or lower depending on what you need. So let's go ahead and grab our rail yard. And what I would like is to put this about here, I think should do. And then of course it is going to need road connections. So we'll grab our 2-lane road and it should be, do we have snapping to building on? Yeah, okay. So we'll draw out just a little bit. And again, it's easier to just draw out extra road and delete as needed. And then what I would like to do to make this facility and the cargo train rail station, is I'm going to put some parking in here. So let's go into, oh, we're already in road tools, parking spaces. And I think I'm going to get a couple medium lots. We can turn our snapping back on, and throw them down about here. Let's see. I might move these just a little bit to have them a little bit more centered. So you don't have to be that annoying with it, but I wanted it to be a little bit centered. It was kind of driving me nuts. But you know, that's just personal preference. Okay, so then I'm going to box these in like this. And actually, I think this road is going to come in on the arterial. So we'll grab that 4-lane road and we'll close that in already like this and just temporarily drag it out like that. And then we have to meet it back up with this one. So Let's see. Let's get our train tools on here. It looks like the train is above the road. So we can probably make it into a little bit of a bridge. So let's take this out. And then we will grab our flatten tool. Oops, we definitely don't need it that big. Go about here. And we'll flatten it to this road height here. And then I can flatten everything else up to about this height. Where the train is. Highest point of the train. There we go. Okay. So let's get the road in. And then we can make sure that we're like, you know, at the right height and everything to get over it. And we'll just take our continuous tool. And we'll drag it out here. And I'd like to get a nice curve in. So let's keep the 180 to about here. So I think that should do us. How bad is this curve here? Let's adjust this slightly. Take the 4-lane road from here and bring it back up to here again. And then get our curve tool, and we can sort of line it up nicely with that one and create a little nicer, gentler curve there. And then link it in. And that looks a touch better. I still think it's a little wonky in there, but I think it'll do. I think it'll do. Okay. And then, hopefully I've left myself enough space. Otherwise, I'll just have to adjust the whole thing. But anyway, we're going to grab our cargo train terminal. And we're going to set it here for now. It will have to be on this other street, though. Because, as you can see, the rail only goes in from this direction. And we're going to need it to come in from this direction. So, we're going to flip this around. I'm going to knock off this little nub road there. And flip this around. So, we're going to do the same kind of thing to give it a little entry road of its own. And we're going to drag that out here and up. And just kind of make it one nice little square there. Then we just grab the building and we can flip it around so that it fronts onto Cooper Street here. So, but I want it a little ways back because what I would like to do is, so obviously these are not going to match up. I did all that matching up and some symmetry for no reason at all. I want it to come back until, there we go, until it says no longer is there a road required. Because I would like this road, hopefully, to come over this way at some point. With the least interference with this rail line as possible. But we will see. So, now we need to hook this train line back up how it was. So, let's get our level train tool again. Keep this going out all the way up to here. And then we'll do it on this side as well. Slope this up to here, and then we'll get it to meet. And actually what I'm going to do is really quickly, which I'll just kind of cut that out. I'm going to adjust the size of this so that it doesn't interfere with the rail at all. It'll make things a little bit easier for me. Okay, so that's out of the way a little bit, and then it'll also leave us room to add in, I think, what is it, ore mining? Shortly, because at the next milestone, we will unlock it, so that'll leave us a little bit more space for that as well. So, that'll be good. And then let's go ahead and connect our rail lines. So we'll take our double train track, which is what it's given us to begin with. And well, hopefully we can just get really nice little connection over this bridge and across. Looks like that's a nice happy curve. And then we can get our straight tool and connect it in the rest of the way. Cool. I think that'll do. And once we're all done with all the terraforming and everything is figured out, I will go through and actually like soften everything out and make it look nice. Now, this is still all not connected. That's what these little notifications are. No track connection. So we need to hook this up to this rail line. I feel like I just don't know if I love that, but I'm gonna work with it now. So again, our double train track, and we'll start over here and we'll just drag this out a little ways to about here, maybe a little bit further. So I want this to be on this height. So we're going to do a little bit more terraforming now. So I think I'll have it join up around here. So why don't we flatten it out to this level? And then from here, we'll right click on the height that we want, which is up here. And then we will left click and drag up this hill. So I'm going to create a little bit of a slope up this way. And we'll have it kind of hug the highway, I think, is what we'll do. So back into our train track. Let's go ahead and grab that. 180. And, I'm on my straight tool. Goodness gracious. One day I'll get it. One day I'll make sure I have the right tools. So we can go ahead, the 180 out to here. Then grab our continuous tool, like I wanted, and drag out this way. Drag it out to here, and then hopefully just pull it right in along this and connect it nicely there. Perfect. And then we'll also probably want to get a connection going this way if it'll let me. So that it can go, this can come in here nicely, and then it can go back out that way. Oh, we've got a fire and a car crash. You know, to be fair, I think that is because I do not have a road maintenance depot, which is supposed to clear the road of snow, which, you know, since it doesn't actually look like there's snow on the road, it's a little bit easy to overlook, but we can sort that out really fast. If we go into our roads, we did unlock this with our advanced road services. We can go into here and grab a road maintenance depot. As you can see, we do not have one. So we'll place it just kind of right here in the industrial zone, I think. And these guys also, not only do they like pick up snow, they do road repairs and help with traffic accident cleanup. So that is great. Another thing that I wanted to do to sort of help with pricing of stuff and like giving our citizens a little bit more money in their pockets and actually hoping that they use our parking lots is turn them all off for pricing. So I'm going to go through and do that really quickly. We don't need to watch that either. Okay, so that helps that a little bit, or it should anyway. That way they'll use them a little bit more instead. So now we can come back over here to what I was doing before and connect these into the main line. So with our regular curve tool, we'll just drag this out and connect it up to here. Just a little gentle curve in there. Same deal with here. We'll drag it out to about there. Grab our curve tool and curve it in here. And then we do have lines going out this way, which we can always do and drag them underneath the highway when we eventually kind of rip this whole thing out and do it again. But that is a project for a different day. Now, with the money situation, and we're losing people too. There is, again, like there's a lot of different kind of buggy situations going on that make it a little bit hard to figure out what is a genuine problem in the city and what is not. But there is a little way that we can sort of game the system to make money. I'm not sure if it'll solve this problem specifically. This is more like, it always says that they want to be a denser, like it says if we go over here, trouble ping rent, a higher density might be needed. But also, it sometimes depends on like what's going on in the building itself. Because sometimes you'll have a house that's just a child. So naturally they can't afford the rent because they can't work. So this one's not the case there, but some of them have some very odd makeup of like what is going on in that house. 2 teens and 1 adult. I mean, they're high level too. That's interesting. This is just a senior, so they don't work. They're just living on a pension, so no wonder they can't afford the rent. So we'll just get rid of that guy. But there is a way that we can really game the system to increase efficiency. Speaking of, why don't we take a look? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't we connect the train line, and then we'll see what's going on. So our train terminal also needs to be connected. So if we grab our rail line here, we want this to go, it looks like it's going up. So we will kind of work with that. So let's grab our terrain tool again and about straight out here. So we want it to be this height. So we'll kind of drag this along here and then our slope tool and pick it up like this. Then get our train line. We can keep it straight and drag it right at a 180-degree angle up to here, and then grab our regular curve tool bring it into the other line at 180 degrees, click, and then turn it. And it'll get a nice, happy little curve in there. Just like that. And then we will also need one coming from this direction out this way. We can raise this up and create that a little bit. And let's see if we can... I think it turned itself into a bridge, so we'll fix that. Does that look okay? Yeah, okay. So then these should all be set up and ready to go. The last step before they are functional is we have to actually draw a line in. So that's a little bit different than how they worked in Cities Skylines 1. Usually if you... Look, we got trucks coming in here like crazy already, so that's good news. So it's already working as far as its storage, so that's good. Working at 115% efficiency, all the employees that it needs. Great news. It's probably because our unemployment rate is, yeah, still pretty low. So, okay. Creating lines. So we go into our transportation tool and then our line tool. Cargo railway route tool. So what we do is you click on the little green train on your terminal to start a new route. And then we're going to go to our outside connection over here to Gilling and bring it all the way back into our terminal and complete the route. And I don't want it to get like too crazy backed up, so I'm not going to go to all of the connections. I'll save that last one out there for another cargo line somewhere out that direction. But I can connect one more to it from here. And I'll go over here to Fort Johnson and draw it back in. And there we go. And then if you click on it, you can see your lines and like where the trains are and everything. So why don't we go into here? Oh, no. So transportation overview will give you kind of, well, like an overview of all your transportation. We don't have any buses yet. I think we'll get into that next episode. We don't have any passenger train lines, but we do have cargo. So our Route 1 will go from Pickleton to Gilling it was. This way we can just keep things a little bit organized. And then Pickleton to Fort Johnson, I think it was, right? So then we can keep an eye on them and just keep everything a little bit organized by renaming them. That you don't really have to do that. It's just personal preference. And then you can also see like how many trains are being used. If you go into route details, you can see a little bit more about it and assign more or less vehicles. So I think, yeah, 2 is actually probably perfect. We don't want too many, because we don't want things getting, like, clogged up. And then we'll do the same thing with the other one. I think it's still just 2, so perfect. And that should get things working. And hopefully these guys will make it, super easily over here to transport any of their goods. Now I want to make sure that this is sort of connected up in as many logical ways as possible. So let's grab our 2-lane road. This seems like an obvious connection here. And then the same thing down this way. Keep our 90-degree angles going. I think that's nice. I think that's good. And then... I think that's okay that way. And then maybe what we'll do is bring this over this way. Knock out that building, that's fine. Connect these 2 up. It does not look like we'll be able to get a road underneath there from this side, but we probably will be able to get this one underneath. So what I'm going to do is pause the game really quickly, because I'm going to break this connection. Let's break it here. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and we will flatten the train again to this side. It's not the prettiest of bridges, I will admit, but it is functional, so there we go. And I guess I'll probably have another one go down here as well. Another little quick connection back up to this arterial, right through here. So, and then this gives us more room to sort of expand some of our, well, why don't we just connect this up too? There we go. I'm just thinking. Okay, yeah, that's fine. This will give us room to sort of expand some of our industry as well, and then do some more like industrial zoning and maybe even a little bit of office to sort of serve as like maintenance, or, I mean, not maintenance, admin or something for some of these buildings. Okay, let's try to connect this really quick. Okay, there we go. And now I want to see, hopefully, of course, you know, we'll see. Does this make a liar out of me, or did it do it? Of course it didn't do it. So the land value, it didn't actually go up. So hopefully, though, if that's the case, then that would be great, and then it won't do that. Would be ideal. We can just see about our building levels. Have things gone up? No. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what caused this to happen. And it might be this next trick that I'm going to show you, which helps solve a little bit of the money problem. I mean, part of the money problem is that we just don't have enough people, and we just placed some very expensive buildings, and we're just not getting enough tax revenue from them, just because we don't have that many people. But there is something that you can do that increases the efficiency and profitability of your buildings. So, like, this should be going up. It went up. It's still right where it started. None of the buildings have leveled up anymore for this. The only ones that are level 5 are still, again, these specialized industries. But to really bump up efficiency, there is a little bit of a trick that you can do, and that is to go into your city economy stuff, go into services, and for electricity and for water, the two utilities, bump their service fees all the way down to the bottom. And you can see, like, when you slide this, that the electricity consumption and company efficiency change. So they're going to use a lot more electricity, up the usage 20%, but the efficiency for the company also goes up 20%, and citizens are very, very happy about it. And then the same thing with water, up to 20%, plus 5% happiness for both those things, and you will see the immediate effects of that in our industrial profit skyrocket. So then we have 98 average commercial profit, 100% office profit, which, you know, we just don't have a lot of office, so that's easier to achieve. And then industrial is going up and up and up and up. Now, why don't we take a look at the... Oh, look, our snow's going away. That's nice, too. Then I can really see the ugliness of all the terrain things I did today. Let's check out our land value. No, very interesting. So, because when I did this and tested it, this land value, like, skyrocketed. It was dark blue over here. I think it is increasing maybe a little bit. Which, again, it just doesn't really make sense, because industry should lower the land value. And you know, that's usually how that works. Like, people don't want to live near it and things like that. Obviously, this area might be friendly for industrial buildings, but the land value shouldn't go up. And of course, it's not this time, so... Always when I wanted to do a certain thing, that's when it doesn't do that certain thing, but I think it is increasing. I think we can see it getting a little bit darker here. So we'll leave that go and see how that works out. Company profitability now at 77%. And this is the only reliable way I've found to be able to increase this number. Like I said, even the taxes are seeing, we're actually, like, closing the gap in that money now, just from doing that. Not a whole lot, but still. I mean, like, about half, almost. So, but the taxes are not very high for anybody. So, that shouldn't really be too big of an issue. And I think... Let's see. Population. Unemployment is still relatively low. Again, same thing here. Still, we only have 8 open positions, and it looks like it's spread out a little bit between the different types. We're definitely closing the gap for the well-educated. We only have 1 missing position for that, so that's nice. It's definitely getting darker over here. Okay. Well, that is how you create a cargo station. It is actually ridiculously simple. I'm terrible at, like, trains and road networks and all of that stuff. Where are you going anyway, too? Going out to Gilling, carrying nothing, apparently. So, that's annoying, but, it probably needs a little bit of time to sort of store up and then start sending things out, I guess. Let's see what happens with this guy. But anyway, as I was saying, it is super, super easy to do this. I am very bad at trains. Like, I'm not a train engineer by any means. It's very difficult for me to, like, conceptualize how this should look and go and function. And it was really easy. I mean, comparative to how I feel like it was in Cities Skylines 1, even though it had less steps, it was somehow more complicated. And part of that is just like, you know, the improved road tools really make a big difference on kind of creating these more intricate networks. But I don't like that. I'm gonna fix that. But yeah, so that is that. What I'm gonna do now is one last thing to try to adjust, or, you know, try to deal with this high rent situation, is get the welfare building. That is the other thing that I wanted to do. And I set up this area here for it. And I just wanted to show you another quick tip if you didn't know. A lot of people had some hard time with this at the very, very beginning, and I think they added it in as a feature. It wasn't there initially, but then people didn't know about it and didn't know how to use it. But if you want to get rid of trees, so to remove like a bunch, you grab your place multiple, so you get your little brush, and then you unclick remove only matching type, and it'll remove any kind of tree. Previously, like in an early release version of the game, it only deleted one kind of tree at a time, which would be super annoying. And then it was added in later, but it wasn't, like, a lot of people didn't know about it for quite some time. So if you missed it, that is possible. You just have to click remove only matching type, and then it will delete everything. And the reason I want to do that is just makes a little room for this building. So, and it will cost us another development point. So if we go into our progression panel, we go into police and administration, and then welfare office. So it provides financial support for low-income citizens, which increases their well-being and lowers their likelihood of recurring crime. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I bought that. Then we go into our police and administration, and then this new tab here, and place the welfare building. So we'll go ahead and place it. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah, right here is fine. And then that got us to the next milestone. So let's go ahead and just see what we got. That might also help us. So just a loan limit, and then ore mining, and then a gated community. Okay. So there is one thing that I want to do with that, and that is I want to make Cornerstone Hills a gated community. I'll probably adjust it so that the forestry industry is not included in that, but I'll do that just off camera. And then I'm going to go ahead and zone up this whole area with our low density European housing. So just another like quick tip that I forgot to mention, just because I honestly forget about it all the time. If you don't want to just take the marquee tool and like draw out a big square of stuff like that, but you want to fill a larger area instead of like clicking each individual box, what you can do is left click, you know, in an area where it kind of fills up that larger square, and then you can just drag and you can fill it all in without having to like individually click on each box, which took me quite some time to figure out. So figure I can maybe save a couple other people that struggle and let you know that little tip. Simple little thing, but does save quite a bit of time. So it's super helpful. And I can just zone all these guys in like so. Grab, probably get rid of these guys. And that guy. Okay. So we'll let those guys fill in. Looks like they're already kind of filling in because we had a lot of demand for it, and we've gotten rid of all of it, so that's good. I think that's like the only time I've ever seen low density not have demand. And then that probably had an impact on our unemployment. Weirdly, no. It's actually gone down, but okay. That's even better because that leaves more room for us to zone things up. Why don't we take one last look at our profitability? 83% now. Again, I'm pretty sure that's mostly due to what we did over here with the economy. And then, what was the other thing I wanted to look at? Land value. Yeah, see, now we can see how blue it is. And I feel like this just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. It is, in fact, a confirmed bug. There's actually 20 pages of confirmed bugs right now. So, there is that. But it's fine. We'll keep growing out the city. We'll still keep having fun with the city. I'll keep showing you how to do certain things. Teach you a couple tips and tricks. And just show you how the game is supposed to function. And ideally, within another month or two, all of these problems will sort of be resolved, or most of them, and the city will function as intended. For now, though, it is stuck the way that it is, but we're going to work with it. We're going to play along. We'll figure it all out. And then building level. Last thing I want to look at is we do have some buildings starting to level up over here. It looks like we're about 50-50 with the industrial being level 1 and 2. So hopefully that will start increasing. We'll see. Same thing over here. It looks like we've got quite a few level 3 buildings, so that's good. We've got a couple of level 4. Very, very good. So yeah. That is going to do it for the main part of the build today. I'm going to go through and clean some things up and jump into a little bit of a terraforming and detailing time-lapse. And I will catch you when we're finished, and we'll see kind of where the city's at the end of that as well. Alright, so that will do it for today's episode. We do still have some problems with the high rent going on. I think that is an issue that will be resolved in the future as we go and add more education. I think they just really, the small single family homes are really sort of reserved for people who make quite a bit of money. Um, and we don't have any well-educated Sims making that kind of money in the city quite yet. So it will be a problem that will be resolved over time. Because I am obviously not planning on making this entire area medium density. That's just not what I want to do with it. So we will solve that with education in the future. But yeah, all I did was really kind of just decorate up this area here around our welfare office, and then I sort of sorted out what I could with the terrain over here, all this little funkiness with our train lines. These don't seem to be going anywhere. Not really sure what the deal with that is. There are still, again though, quite a few bugs in the game. It is what it is. We're still having a good time. Take what you like and leave the rest. I'm still enjoying the game regardless. So, for next episode, what we're going to get into is a little bit of some more specialized industry. We're going to add ore and textile farming, because we haven't gotten into that yet. And then I think we'll probably expand over here. We'll try, ideally, I would like to rework this entry system here and kind of reconfigure these highway entrances and connections, and set this area up for what will be another sort of large city center, kind of in this area. Probably like right along the water would be where the high density will go. Not sure. But we are going to expand into this area next. I started out another little arterial road here to get us started. And yeah, I think that is going to be the plan for over here. And we'll probably get buses in at that point. So to shuttle people from this side over to this side across the river a little bit easier without clogging up all of our highways and stuff. So if you are looking forward to that, feel free to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so that you don't miss that episode. Otherwise, I hope you did enjoy this episode. I hope you feel a little bit more confident working with the trains and kind of how this all connects and works and what its function is ideally supposed to be once the kinks get worked out. But anyway, yes, that is all I have for you today. So if you enjoyed the video, if you liked it, I would appreciate if you left a like below and even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Likes, comments, and shares all really do help the channel grow and bring the channel to more people. So it's always super appreciated when you do that. But no pressure, of course. Only if you enjoyed it, only if you really feel like you got something out of it. But yeah, so thank you again for everybody leaving comments and suggestions. Please feel free to continue doing so. I really do like reading them all. Again, and also special shout out to some of our Discord members here. We've got a couple. I need to add quite a few more. We're up to about 20 people in there now. We've got Barry. He's a teen. Oh, he's not feeling normal at all. Uh-oh. Sorry, Barry. We got a Leaf. Nothing going on here. But I will continue to add all of our Discord members there and name buildings after them in the city. I keep forgetting to actually go through and do it. But I will get around to it and we'll show them off. So yeah, if you would like to be a part of the Discord, it's really starting to grow now. Got a nice little community of people. Super helpful. Everybody's sharing lots of fun tips and tricks. Lots of fun discussion to be had. So if you want to be a part of that, I will leave the link in the description below. We would all be happy to have you there. As well, in the description below, I will also leave a link to Instant Gaming, where you can buy cheap video games, and it also helps support the channel at the same time. So, killing two birds with one stone there. That I will leave in the link in the description and probably the pinned comment below for easy access. But otherwise, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and enjoy the cinematics on your way out.